the science.
Suffice it that the blood of 1,000 men and women was spilled in these laws. Limbs twisted and broken, eyes gouged from bloody sockets, flesh burned black.
Please. You're waiting for death. In death, there are no accidents, no coincidences, no mishaps, and no schemes. What you have to realize is that we're all just a mouse that a cat has by the tail.
The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
Warning, the following show contains conservative posturing, radical Christian ideas, and may offend pagans, Wiccans, Islamic fundamentalists, and other unenlightened individuals. Callers and guests may be subjected to brash and offensive comments by the hosts and any other type of bullying tactics available. But that's okay. We know why you're here.
This concludes this test of the emergency broadcast system.
Tonight is Monday, June 11th, 2007.
And welcome to World of the Unexplained. This is Jay Scott.
This is D. Clements.
That's right, filling in for Mr. Trent T-Bone Lackey tonight.
T-Bone.
Trent is on his way. Some bad storms and weather caused him to stay at home and cry like a little girl, but not us, your fearless radio casters, not us. Your fearless radio broadcasters. We made it. Chuck made it. D made it.
I made it. And I drove right straight through the middle of it.
Yeah, it was pretty bad stuff there.
Yeah, I hit a puddle and water came above the hood of the car.
That tells you something, doesn't it? Oh well, I've been so busy, and I don't know. It's just been a whirlwind. I've been concerning myself with making a living, and it's tough, and these Democrats just want to tax me to no end for everything. It's awful.
That's what happens when you start your own business.
I know, but here's my one story. I don't know if I told this the other week or not, but I go down to the North Carolina Department of Revenue. I have to have a privilege license, you see, to practice law. It's not enough that I pay the state every year dues or the county dues. I have to also pay the state Department of Revenue for a privilege license. Now, this license is $50 a year. Not bad. Okay, I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is since I came in and applied for it in June, and since the privilege license runs from July 1st to June, the end of June, last day of June, every year, I had to pay the $50 for June and then a $50 for next year. And they don't prorate it. They don't prorate it.
That's bureaucracy, man, for you. I mean,
that is fine.
The same thing with your inspection sticker, whatever, man. Whatever they got their hands in.
It's just dirty.
It's
dirty.
Great.
And they're probably going to use my money for some welfare recipient somewhere. I'm right. I'm right. And that's just wrong. That's just the bottom line.
You think it's going to build schools and roads?
Roads. Yeah, we do so much road work here.
Yeah.
Our state flower should be that little orange and white cone that they leave on the side of the road every like mile on the interstate. Is awful. And that's the thing, if you notice the roads, like if they just paved the whole thing, it would be okay. But they don't. They'll pave two patches on both sides where the tires hit and leave the middle undone.
And then those are the spots that wind up wearing out.
Exactly. I don't understand any of it. Government spending, it's ludicrous. I haven't even been able to keep up with politics lately, so I'm kind of in the. You
didn't watch debates?
I didn't watch the debates even. I'm gonna have to catch it on the internet, and I will check it out. What I do want to know though is I'd heard that the immigration bill was dying. Is it dead, Chuck?
It's got its final death blows here. It'll die here in the next 48 hours if it's gonna.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Well, praise the Lord.
Yeah, I heard it wasn't gonna go through.
I'm glad. These illegal aliens need to pay their way like everybody else does. We shouldn't be giving amnesty to them. But hey. That's neither here nor there.
I'll have to tell you, though, the real culprit who killed the bill, it wasn't the Republicans, man. It was the Democrats. They want to make a fool of Bush.
Well, that's fine with me. I'd like to make you really can't make a fool of Bush. He makes it for himself.
It's like it's like shooting fish in a barrel, or maybe even a little easier, like standing somewhere within the vicinity of a barrel. Maybe that's
it is. It is totally.
Hey, but I'm looking forward to the new show that's coming out though.
What, me and Chuck's new show?
Well, that one and also the Little Bush.
Little bit. Oh yeah, that's on. Isn't that on like Adult Swim, guys? Is that?
So it's either that or on Comedy Central or something. I can't remember.
They should have never canceled that one with Matt Stone and Trey Parker. That's my Bush.
Oh, yeah,
that's my Bush. I didn't see that. What happened with Family Guy? You remember years ago it came on, and then they took it. Well, they took it off for a while, and then they brought it back. Why did they bring it back? Does anybody know?
Popular demand.
Popular demand. Wow.
Yeah, it's on Adult.
That's like
it's on Adult Swim.
Popular demand, man.
Yeah.
I apologize for all the past podcast stuff. I never updated.
Slacker.
I am, and I just don't have the time, and I'm always running around trying to get all this stuff done because my law office opens July 1st, and that's when my Yellow Page ad comes out, and I'm crazy. I got an entire full page, and it's insanely expensive.
Well, where's your priorities, man? It's the radio station, not your business and
well,
trying to find a home to live in. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm looking for a house, too, and, I mean, it's just insane. I found the house I want, and we'll see. We'll see how it turns out, but it's a nice contemporary home. I like the contemporary houses.
What do you mean by contemporary?
Well, the design style with the
What, it's got columns on it?
No, it's like no. Listen, Mr. Art History. I mean contemporary by today's real estate standards. It's got the angles and everything.
Large
you know what I'm talking
windows.
about. Yeah, large windows,
larger
the angles,
windows,
French
yeah.
doors. It's really nice. It's
Yeah.
got a deck that swings around. It's really nice. You should saw. I've saw this bathroom today. I walked in. The master bedroom's huge, and there's some French doors that goes out to the deck. But in the master bathroom that connects to the bedroom, there's a shower and the toilet. Normal things you have in bathrooms. But then there's this insanely huge tub, and it's not like. It's the size of one of those tubs, with the
whirlpool tub,
yeah,
kinda like
but
thing?
it's not. It's not a whirlpool. It's just a tub, a regular tub. And of course, I'm going to replace that with the whirlpool.
Yeah,
thing.
and the thing, who takes a bath anymore?
Oh, the chicks do, man. I guess. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
I thought you were going to tell me that there was a bidet in the bathroom.
No. I would like to put one of those in though.
Oh, that's
Anyway, not only that, but it's really cool because they've really, really long counter with the two sinks. And then you walk back beyond the sinks, and there's this huge walk-in closet right there in the bathroom. I was like, man, this is awesome. I got to have it. I got to have bathrooms and bedrooms. That's basically what sells me. And the living area is real nice. It's a fireplace.
How's the kitchen, though?
Kitchen's great. All of it's just, it's one of those things where a lot of the houses, I've looked at, I'd go into and I'd say, man, I need to fix this up. I'm going to have to spend money on the floor, spend money on this, paint this, whatever, do a lot of work. This house is so ready to move in, I wouldn't have to touch it for at least a year. And by that time, I'll buy something bigger and stupider.
When the radio show takes off, right? I mean the law practice takes off.
Whichever. I don't care. I don't care which one. But Chuck and I are starting the show. Dee's going to call our guest now. That's Robbie Thomas, our first hour here, or first 45 minutes, I guess I should say. But Chuck and I are starting a show pretty soon. We need a name, guys. So if y'all can think of anything, it's a political show.
Well, that would be awesome. Yeah, if you guys could email us some possible names to kick around, that would be great. Yeah,
it's just going to be whatever. Just email it worldoftheunexplained@gmail.com. Just send them there. And Chuck and I will look at it, and if you win, we'll give you a prize. No, I'm kidding, we won't. But we'll definitely give you props for coming up with a name. So it's
come up with something exciting, not just Chuck and Scott's world of politics. We were on something with punch. Cross collateralization. Think hard.
Think hard. Yes, think hard. So we're coming out with that really soon, probably in the next month or so after things get settled down for me and get more in the line of we need a name first because obviously we're going to have to buy a domain name to have a website on, and OmniSound Radio 1 network is going to actually carry the show, so that's going to add some diversity to their programming there by having a political talk show.
They don't have one yet?
No, they don't have one yet. Cool. But right now we've got with us Psychic Robbie Thomas. If you don't know who he is, then I don't know where you've been. Robbie, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm fantastic. How are you?
We're doing great. Well, thanks for coming on our show tonight. We appreciate it.
Oh, no, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Now, you're in the middle of a tour right now, aren't you?
Yeah, we're touring. I'm in Canada, so to me, touring the United States is a treat, and I love it. I love it.
Land of the free.
Lonely, yes, indeed. You don't realize it yet, but we are your 52nd state.
Oh, I know that. I love Canada. I used to go up to Quebec, the province of Quebec, every couple years. I would stay in Quebec City and then go to Montreal for a little bit. I loved it. Toronto, I've been through there, the Niagara Falls area, all that stuff. But Quebec's got a special place in my heart for me. So
Quebec who? Just kidding.
That part of Canada. What part of Canada are you from?
I'm in Ontario.
Okay.
I border Michigan.
Okay. Wow. All right. So it's basically the U.S. with a border.
Oh yeah, that's all it is. Yeah, my family. I'm half American, half Canadian, so I'm a Heinz 57.
Oh, cool. So are you a citizen of both, or?
No, just the one. They changed the laws back then where it would stop at the children of the father and mother. Yeah. And so when I asked my father, I said, "Why can't I have mine?" And I went and checked it out, but no, they stopped right at the children.
Oh man, someone needs to tell Mexico that. Sorry. Anyway, we were just talking about the immigration bill.
Yeah, I had actually a family member.
It's a tough call.
Oh yeah.
Who had to change her citizenship. She married a guy that was from Canada, and she had to change her U.S. citizenship to Canadian.
Really?
To live there and get a job.
Huh.
Oh, really?
That's
yeah.
A lot of the socialist countries are actually.
A lot of the socialist countries, yeah. So, Robbie, tell us about what you're doing on your tour.
Well, we're visiting. We just visited Kentucky. We're going to Duluth, Michigan, Savannah, New Orleans. We're hooking up in Connecticut, and we're coming back to Kentucky. So,
wow.
Yeah, I love Kentucky. The people are so beautiful down there. It's amazing.
It's all that corn.
Yeah. I said where I want to buy a house is in Kentucky because the people are so beautiful. It's amazing.
The weather can kick you down, let me tell you.
Yeah.
We're here in North Carolina. Now, didn't you come through here already?
No, we want to.
Okay.
We want to. And it was scheduled to be done. It got kind of sidetracked, so we're going to try to maybe stick that back on the map and head down that way, and I can't wait.
Okay, good. Well, you got to let me know when you're coming through here.
Oh, yeah,
we'll
definitely.
We may just broadcast live. It'll be crazy.
Oh, wouldn't that be a treat?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Now, you do a radio show, too, on the on Bill's network, don't you?
Achieve Radio.
Yeah, Achieve. I've spoken to Bill a number of times. I think we're a little too conservative for him, but we've talked back and forth.
You don't have the shock jock treatment, do you?
Oh, a little bit here and there.
we try to keep him under control.
But Bill,
there you go.
Yeah, Bill told me he was gonna start some other network and stuff like that. And I've been speaking with Bill back and forth now probably for the last 4 months, and a real nice guy, and he speaks really highly of you.
Oh, well, that's great. And he is a super guy, and I can't wait. If you guys jump aboard, it's just more, and it's great.
Now, when does your program air there so people can check that out?
Yeah, Sunday nights from 8 till 9 Eastern Time, and we take calls from all around the world. The show's syndicated in Australia and England and the States and Canada, and I love it. I just love people, and the more you call in, the better, because we get to share with each other, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, we share a couple. We're with Omni Sound. That's where we started. We came back to them. We're also with Ghost Radio Network, which I know that you're on that too.
Yeah, I'm with Omni Sound and Ghost Radio. Yeah, hey, we're
so see, we're already on the same.
Yeah.
But so tell us what you do on these tours, Robbie. What are you out there for?
Well, I'm bringing a lot of integral individuals who've been in the paranormal realm and in the film industry for many, many years, from the Sci-Fi Channel to New Dominion Pictures, Ronald James Television, NBC, and what have you. And we're bringing things forward where people want to see the realization of the true essence of spirit. Things captured on film and what people are experimenting now with to communicate with the other side.
Okay.
Either it be photograph, filming, or actual EVP. So when we bring this to light, and we have all the different speakers come aboard and they're speaking their qualifications and putting it all down in front of everybody, then I'll come in and I'll speak what I know throughout the years, what I've done, and I'll read people in the audience.
Okay. Well, can you read us, Robbie?
Can I read you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys were planning for this, and I know it. And you know what? The biggest thing I would love to discuss with you guys at the moment, and I know we had a brief tinge of this.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that after the first break.
Okay.
I let everybody coast until about half after.
Yes, no, that's good. That's good.
But yeah, so what are you picking up from either myself or D, who's filling in for Trent? He's running a little late because of some weather, and Chuck, he's our producer. He's sitting in the middle of us.
So we got 4 people there.
3 right now.
Well, 3 right now, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to speak with you first of all.
Okay.
And continue in the writing aspect and drawing up. Is it your memoirs you're bringing forward?
No.
Well, you're writing. There's writing involved with you.
Yeah, I've kind of put it on the back burner.
Well, you know why? Why put it on the back burner?
I've been real busy.
Yeah, we put ourselves, that's one thing what we do is we always tend to think that other things are more important than what we have going on. And yet there's so much in time in the day that we're given to ourselves. So why not just bring that forward and just each day plug away at it instead of just letting it sit back there?
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, and this would actually be very good for you, and bringing this out as well. Taking this on the road, and with taking this on the road, and I'm thinking, and I'm getting this down here, because I do a lot of writing as I'm talking.
Okay.
Taking this down the road, your show.
Okay.
Now, who has proposed this to you?
I don't know. A lot of people.
Other than myself?
Again, this is not on the back burner type thing.
Yeah. We're a once a week kind of broadcast.
Yeah, but you know what? It can turn into a little bit more different type of scenario as you've been discussing. And this would be a very great highlight. So bring this and bring it forward.
It's funny, Daniel Brinkley actually mentioned to us about a month or 2 ago that someone would approach us at the end of June.
Or the beginning of July.
Yeah, and we haven't heard from anybody, but some kind of big sponsor is going to approach us then. So, we'll see.
Yeah, well...
Well, if you know anybody, just throw our name in there.
Yeah, no, it's true, because I'm seeing it, and I'm telling you, go for it and do it. So, things we think about and the things we love to do, why don't we just do it?
Because we have bills to pay.
Yeah, I know, but you can still do both. You know what I mean? People tend to take a look at things, and they make a little thing a huge thing. So they give them an inch, they make it a mile, and it becomes burdensome. You guys got the right formula. So why not take this on the road? And again, about people talking to you and bringing this on the road, it's a candles that burned at both ends, but you can be done. You guys have the right formula, and I'm telling you do.
All right. Well, I'll let you move on to D then. D, go ahead.
Okay.
How are you?
Fine. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
Is there anything you need to know, or?
No. Oh boy. Second guessing on this fella here. When we second guess ourselves at times, and we look at things in a perspective of, I know the intuition is proper and I know it's right, but is it true? Why don't you go with your first gut instinct?
Okay.
And that goes through a lot of things in life. And that goes through, you're a very personable individual, but when it comes to being personable for yourself, you second guess a lot.
Okay.
Is that true?
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay, but I want to take it a step further here. When we want to look at the scope of everything, we always look down the road, and I want your fellas there to back this up now, because there's nothing better than having your homies back this up. And what I'm talking about is, when you look down the road, you're always worried about in the future, but you never look at what's going on in the moment.
Okay.
Guys?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's a fair statement.
Yeah, but I think everybody does that though.
Yeah.
Well, not really, because you know why? I don't do that, and I know there's a lot of other people that don't do that. And there's people who fall prey to worrying about what's up in the future, but yet they take life for granted in the day they live. And when I say take life for granted, is the fact that we don't live fully each day. And when I'm putting we, I'm talking about you, and I put myself in your perspective.
Right.
We got to live it fully each day, because you know why? You're not fooling anybody but yourself.
Okay.
And that's the bottom line.
I'm going to put Chuck.
right.
I'm going to put Chuck on with you.
We're gonna have time,
Okay.
man? Yeah.
Yeah, you got enough time.
Hi, this is Chuck. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Right on, right on. Now, here's an individual who's very philosophical, and I would say,
Hey.
pardon me?
I was just saying, hey.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. And, live, I want to say this, and I don't mean it by the term it comes out, but it does have a meaning to it. Live by the sword, die by the sword.
Huh.
You know what I mean? What
Barry
you
White.
do. What's that?
It's a nickname he's picked up called Barry White. I was just calling him Barry White. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but very philosophical, and that's we sometimes it's good to be a hard-nosed individual, but still be very heartwarming. And being heartwarming is, we looked at religious aspects, and in religion, there's not one religion in this world that we can say that God said, this is the correct religion, this is the correct religion, because everybody has, their motive to saying, this is what I own, this is what I own. We all seek and search out the right proper for us. And the right proper for us is when we're philosophical, we actually are the seekers. You're a seeker.
Well, I think this guy hit the nail on the head, man.
He got you, definitely. So what do you think of my new business, Robbie? What do you think of my new business venture I'm getting ready to get into?
Again, oh boy, I want to go back a little bit. When you started to think about doing a business venture, let's put it that way, and you started, I want to take you right back to the beginning, okay?
Okay.
When you started to begin to even think about doing a business venture, and I wrote the word down, bitter. So was there a time in the beginning that you became bitter?
I become bitter from time to time a lot, right? Yeah.
The very first thing I put down is bitter, and I underlined bitter. That's what I put down. So it's almost like you were sitting there fighting yourself in order to say, this is okay.
Yeah.
And you know what? When we get that way, and I wrote the word down, I want to get more on this bitter part of it, but when we write the word down, why do we fight ourselves? So when I'm saying that, and I'm looking at myself, and we want to move forward and do a business venture, why do we fight ourselves in order to accomplish something really great in our lives? If we think it's going to better ourselves and look forward in life, that we can say, look, I've accomplished something for myself. I don't care what anybody else thinks, because this is about me and what I'm doing, but I am going to help others. But it's what I stand for. So why become bitter?
Yeah. Okay, well, with that, we're going to have to take our first break of the night. So hang tight with us, Robbie. If you guys want to give Robbie a call, you can reach him here with us, 877-SCARE-YOU2. That's toll-free in United States and Canada, 877-SCARE-YOU2. Or locally, 336-996-1596. You're listening to World of the Unexplained, and we'll be back. And we're back on World of the Unexplained. The numbers again, for those of you that would like to talk to Mr. Thomas, 877-722-7382. That number again is 877-SCARE-YOU2. It's toll-free in the U.S. and Canada, but not in Mexico. Call.
Well, it probably is.
I don't think it is, actually. I think they only do the Canada-U.S. thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know, because they want to charge the people that come up from Mexico extra money to call home. I think that has some value.
Duty?
I think they do. I think they charge to call to Mexico. I think the reason that it's not toll-free there, but it is toll-free from U.S. to Canada, is because they want them to pay more to call places. That's just an opinion I have. I don't know how true that is.
And if you're calling from overseas,
so you got to make them pay taxes somehow, right?
That's right. if you're calling from overseas, just call your operator and get the correct
access number, access code, whatever it is. I don't know.
And the local
we
number
don't get that much though. We usually we've had a couple calls from the UK live, but God only knows they were probably up.
Apparently the ringer's on.
That's on my fax machine there. That's what that is. But anyway, so we'll hear it too. That's great. Yeah, I should have unhooked. Did you hook it up, Chuck?
Yes, I did.
That's why it's doing that. Then I'll unhook it here in a little bit. I don't care. Call in if you want to. So Robbie, now when I first talked to Robbie Thomas, we had a disagreement because we didn't quite understand each other. I'd warned him that we're a Christian conservative show, and he emails me back, but I am a Christian. And anyway, then we called each other on the phone, and we got everything straightened out, and I think we just had a little misunderstanding, but it's all cleared up now. But I do want to talk about, in the Bible, it says, in the Old Testament, that you shouldn't communicate with dead people. How do you talk to dead people now, and how does that work with your Christianity?
Growing up as a child and I'm going to go back to Catholicism.
Okay.
Being Catholic. And looking at the fact that I was in grade 2, so you're about 7 years of age, and Father Pedelt had a big impact on my life, and I wanted to be a priest so bad. Growing up, I wanted to be a priest up to age 16. Then I discovered girls, but I wanted
forget the priest thing.
That's usually what happens.
I got the real life. But anyways, I want to come back a little bit. And I'm sitting there, and I'm really looking at what's going on in my life. And my mother would say, and she was intuitive, very much so. And she would say, let things happen. And so I would. So things would happen as they would for anybody. And then I sit there and I go, okay, now I read the Bible myself, and I prayed the rosary every night like a good Catholic little boy.
Okay.
And, I pray to God in a different manner now than I do when I was a child, and being more personable with Jesus and God. So now I look at it this way. If John the Baptist was told, and he foreseen Jesus coming, he was told by Spirit he was coming. God and Spirit choose who and when and for what reason that it is meant to be.
Okay.
Be it in good terms, where I've done murder and missing persons cases for 17 years and helping out families to bring a better understanding of loved ones who have passed for, let's say, a monster who took them. And that's the term I use, is monster.
Well, that's what they are.
Well, exactly, and when you look into a mother's eyes and she goes to you, Robbie, I want my baby back. And you're sitting there and you're going, oh my gosh, and you're choking back tears yourself, and you're trying to understand her feelings and the signals you're getting, and you're telling the police information, and everything is coinciding with what they have. So you sit there and you go, Spirit's giving me information for a reason. It's not because I'm just plucking it out of the air and they're telling me this stuff for no reason and I'm looking like a fool. It's for a reason, for real. And I look at that, and it's not a hard pill to swallow. It's something that when at the end of the day, and you turn and you say, I get a call and the phone rings. Robbie, our producer's missing. We've had people say he's dead. Can you help us out? And I say, you know what? In 3 days' time, he's going to call you because this is the information I'm getting. And in 3 days' time, that guy called, and they found him, and he was alive.
Huh.
Now, there's a reason for that. And the reason isn't just because I watched Mickey Mouse on television and, I got this thing go through my brain and, and I'm just this guy who just dreams these things up. No, it's for a reason. Spirit and God gives this. My mother always told me, she was very religious. My mother always told me, God will tell you when things are proper. Read the Bible. So when I started to think of things like that, and I started to look at it, and that goes for any book. The Bible is man-made, God-driven. So when I look at stuff like that, and I say, okay, John the Baptist foreseen Jesus coming. Moses spoke to God, and God gave him the commandments. God told him what is proper. Elijah rose from the dead because Jesus said, come forth now. And we're looking at God. And I'm thinking, okay, he used me for a minuscule of a moment, and he sent spirit down. Now, why is that so bad when people can't grasp it because they don't get it?
No, I don't think. I totally agree with you. I think God can do what He wants to. What He wants to. He's God, and I do believe that there are gifts like yours that are divinely inspired. I believe there are a lot of other gifts that are not divinely inspired but are satanically derived. But and I'm not saying that yours is satanically derived. I'm saying that from what you do and the way you sound, it does sound like you have a divine gift. But what I'm saying is, how does that jive with your, with reading the Bible and seeing these things as far as the speaking with the dead people? Are you communicating with dead relatives of people?
We've captured on film and EVP, first time ever evidence of communication with the other side with me in correlation. Not just once, many, many times. And Dead Whispers, the movie that came forward, it's a critically acclaimed hit movie now. The purpose behind this movie, when I told the producer, was the only reason I'll do this is so that when people look at it and go, Mom, I love you. Are you really hearing me? Mom really hears you. And that's my whole purpose behind doing the movie. Now, they wanted to take it a different way and make it Hollywood and glamour, and I wouldn't let them.
That's good.
Oh, that's good, yeah.
Yeah. No, we did it for real because I love God more than life itself, and that's how everybody should love God. The moment I set forth in doing that movie was just to prove to people that when you say, Dad or Mom, are you listening to me? Of course they're listening to you. Of course they hear you. And don't ever second guess that again, because when you lay down in bed at night and we say our prayers and we say, good night, Mom, I love you. Well, your mom hears you, and it's true. And all those little innuendos that we get throughout the day, the perfume smell, the little touch, is that her? Because when we get the touch, people turn around and go right away, right in their mindset from watching television, boom, they're thinking, oh, my mom's here. Of course, if you're getting that heartfelt invitation to know that a postcard has been sent to you of love from the other side, and right away you think it's your mother, of course, where else? Your intuitional factor is kicking in, and that's part of being spiritual.
Okay, well, hang on. I want to drive the hard question. So do you facilitate two-way communication between the dead and the living?
Yes, and it's going to be difficult for you to probably understand this, but then again, I want to pass the question back to you guys. The world of the unexplained.
Yeah.
We do a show about world of unexplained, and it's a great topic and a great topic of discussion. We go and take pictures. We go and do investigations. We talk to different guests. We try to get the circumference of the equation, or what's coming out from every topic that we talk about. And then there's people who can actually say, yeah, I got it on a film. I have it on EVP. You can hear me discussing what's going on, and it's captured, and you can hear them talking over top of me. We have scientists that have come forward and taken a look at this stuff in retrospect and seen that the different frequencies that are elevated or on EVP put into lab work, they can see it's not something that's been put into some program and done. People who are around me now, and I'm going to reflect back to the movie. I know it's a funny title, but it's called Dead Whisper. And the way, because Dead Whisper is, people think that they're dead. They're not dead, and it's a whisper because they're wanting to talk to us, and they want to be acknowledged. So when they were in the room, and I told everybody, I just got pushed. Everybody get in that room. We had integral individuals from the paranormal realm, like Christopher O'Brien, been around for moons. He's done the cattle mutilations, worked with Linda Moulton Howe, been on sightings. He's been on many different television programs around the world. We've had people as Michael Esposito, who's with New Dominion Pictures. He's a scientist. He was with the PSYOPs in the American Army. He does a lot of frequency work. We had 18-time award-winning film producer Ronald James, and many different integral individuals. They all filed in the room, and as they did, they all heard at the same time, the individual, it was a vulgar word that was said, but it was spoken and everybody heard it. Now, that becomes very, I would say, poignant in saying that they are wanting to know. When one person gets brushed or pushed or touched, that's one thing. When we sit there and we have a moment, just you guys, and your past loved ones, we all love our family. We love them to death, be it here or on the other side. We love them so much. And we say, good night, I love you. And again, I go back to that thing is, do they hear us? Of course they hear us. And sometimes people get the answers of, the bed's being touched, or they're being touched, or they come in dreams, and things like this. They're getting their answers. It's true.
Robbie, you should have been a politician because you're still dodging my question. How do you relate that though? How do you say, okay, the Bible says I shouldn't talk to dead people, but I'm facilitating communication between them and the living? How do you come to terms with that in your Christianity?
Well, okay. For the most part of the Bible has been written by man.
So do you believe that the Bible is divinely inspired?
Pardon?
Do you believe that the Bible is not divinely inspired?
Exactly. If we go back now and we listen to the archive, what I said was the book was written by man but driven by God. So divinely inspired.
Okay.
Exactly. Okay. Those are my key words, and that's what I did say.
Okay.
Now, what I want to get to is there's so many different contradictions within the Bible. We can look at the 4 basic Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Okay.
They all tell a different story. So when we look at the new Gospel or we look at the Old text, we sit and we look at a God who is, I don't want to call God vengeful and, an eye for an eye and what have you. You know what I mean?
In the past, he was considered that. Old Testament wise.
You see God a little more quick with the trigger in the Old Testament.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair statement.
Well, okay, yeah, but I don't want to look at it that way because God's God.
Yeah.
And let's put ourselves in the perspective. We're human. We make mistakes. So, God's God, and we're not going to go any further than saying that. So, we look at the Old Testament, and then we look at the New Testament. So we say, okay, who are we to judge? Who are we to say what is right and say, can you tell if this is proper, or can you see that they're coming to you and talking to you? How can you say that against the Bible? Well, who are you to say it doesn't happen? God chooses, and your words were, I do understand God chooses the moment in time. So that answers the whole question.
Yeah, but I don't think God would choose something that goes against the Word because the Word is God, and the Bible tells us that. God is the Word is God. God wouldn't contradict himself.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with God saying, okay, Spirit's going to come down and help out people who are in need. And when God said, cast out your net. You are the fisher of fishermen. You're going to feed my flock. Doesn't mean, people think, oh, okay, well, what does that mean? And they get all these different meanings. We got to look at it this way. If we're so close-minded and we're walking around this earth, this plane, with blinders on and without sight, how are we going to comprehend what that truly means? Can you tell me?
Well, I mean, like I said, once again, I mean, I think it's pretty plain, that in the Old Testament, with the story with Samuel, that this is in the book of Samuel, excuse me, that this is something that's not something that we're an area that we're not supposed to delve into, and that's why I'm just wondering how that parallels with what you believe.
Okay, and then again, we have an old book and we have a new book.
Yeah.
When do the rules change?
Well, the rules changed with the new book, and I know where you're going with this. You're going to get into the whole Leviticus thing and the pork thing and all that, and I know where we're going here. But, even in the new book, in Revelation, it mentions the people that won't get into heaven, dogs, witches, or warlocks. I can't remember the exact. I could find that, but the exact thing. Basically, soothsayer is the type of thing that one would equate to someone like the Witch of Endor that the story talks about in Samuel.
Is it not in the first book where it says they are gods, meaning us? They are like gods.
You'd have to give me a verse. I'm not created in God's image. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the Spirit dwelleth within us.
Yeah.
Why is it not that Spirit within us cannot communicate with Spirit on the other side? Are you that, that we all sit here and think that we are all that mundane and that prevalent to say, oh my gosh, no, it can't happen. No, it's not true because it's going against the first book. Well, Jesus come along and all of a sudden everything changed. So it's like there was a renovation within the house of God.
But that's because he was God. And so,
well, that's what I'm getting to. You know what I mean? There's a renovation within the house of God. So when we take a look at something like that and say, okay, well, I'm just going to throw out the first Bible, the first book, and we're just going to go with this one now. We got to look at things really how God is, and we are made within the image of God. Just not by how we look, but how we are within, in spirit within. We house the Holy Spirit. And so if we are with Spirit, we are of God.
Okay.
Yeah. You have something, D? I know you wanted to jump in there a while back.
My question is a totally different subject. So.
Oh, go ahead.
Well,
I'm going to let Robbie off the hook for a little bit.
All right.
Get some breathing room in here. Make it fun again.
When you first started, like you said, you were helping people with, as far as the police department and all that kind of stuff. Did you first contact them to help on a crime that had happened, or did they contact you? And if so, when you first started telling them things or facts that you saw or that kind of thing, did they believe you, or did they possibly think that, well, maybe you had something to do with it because you know so much about what happened to that person?
Good question. Very good one. My very first murder case, Mark Campbell was shot. And what happened was Brad Anderson, I'm going to name the names because, it's all out there. Brad Anderson was across the road ripping off a car stereo with Thomas Cook. Now, Thomas Cook decided to get up and go, I'm going to go over to the gas station, which is about 50 feet away or so across the road, and rip it off. But in the meantime, I'm going to shoot the guy 3 times. So Brad Anderson's sitting in the car still ripping out the car stereo. And Thomas Cook goes over and shoots poor Mark Campbell, who's 14 years of age, high school student, just trying to make a few extra bucks. Brad Anderson decides to run over across the road because he heard the shots, and then there's more shots. So now I'm going to bring you up to speed. I'm in this apartment building, and I knew practically nothing of the case, very much of that whatsoever. And the individual, his first name I'll only use, was Greg, who was the superintendent.
Uh-huh.
He says to me, Rob, come on up, we're going to have some beers and blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, okay, it's a long day and it's very hot in the summertime, and I'll go up. And so I sit with this guy, and I'm looking right at him, and I'm actually looking right through this guy. And so I just started talking, and I said, wow, you're involved in something very bad about a murder. And he starts talking about this case that they're in court about already, and he goes, we're going to get off on a technicality. And he just opened up like that, like boom. And he told me, he says, if you open your mouth, I'll kill you. And this is his words.
Huh.
So I'm looking at this individual tell me this, and he looks like a sawed-off little Eddie Van Halen. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding you. He's like 5 foot nothing, if that. And he's like a sawed-off little Eddie Van Halen. The hair's all long and everything. And I'm looking at this snub-nosed little kid, and he's telling me about this. And he tells me the story as I just told you. And so I'm sitting there, I'm going, oh my gosh, and it's really weird. And he's telling me all this stuff, and then I'm going through it, and then I told him, I said, karma's going to come and kick you in the butt, and it's going to kick your buddy in the butt. And so Thomas looks at me, and he shoved me out the door, right? And Thomas says again, tell anybody I'll kill you, right? Shuts the door. So I go to the police station.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want to go to.
Very first place I go immediately, right to the police station. And I'm talking to the inspectors, right? Yeah. And I'm telling them, and they said, Robbie, you got to go back and wear a wire. And I said to him, are you kidding me?
He's going to kill me.
Yeah. The first thing he did was fill me up, and I'm not going to wear a wire. I'm sorry. They told me the whole thing. And the guy says, please. And I said, no. So he said, what have you got? And I said, it's really funny, but I'm getting told that because of the fact that I have this information, I'm going to tell you the guy's name. And the guy's name, remember, was Brad Anderson and Thomas Cook. And I said, the guy goes by the name Jesse. And they all looked at one another and go, that's his AKA. That's his name,
weird.
Jesse. And where do you pull that out of a hat? So I told them that, and as they did, they got all the information. But the funny thing was, they got off in a technicality, but karma did come around. And it did kick Thomas Cook in the butt because he murdered again, and now he's serving life in jail.
Huh.
Now, the only one we have to go after is Brad Anderson. And, to this day, it still eats me, and I know it eats the police, but there's got to be a way of getting around to getting him. And, there's only so much hours in the day, and I can't go play detective, but at least I gave him that little bit of information. That's my very first case, and I'm glad you brought it up.
Cool. Oh, wow. Well, I got one other question.
Go ahead.
It's just a little odd. When you go on like some of your investigations with some of the other paranormal guys that are out there that you go with, the most common thing that you always see is that they always talk about how the batteries of the cameras or that kind of stuff, the battery gets drained, and that's usually when something happens. Well, here's my question. If that's what happens for an apparition to come forth, why don't they just carry a car battery in there and set it in a room and let it just suck that car battery and see what happens?
Yeah, and put all kinds of cables to it and run it to every camera, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I go in, and I've heard that, and in the movie Dead Whisper, we see it live on the film that the camera batteries do die. Now, I don't pay much attention to that because the battery of spirit doesn't die. Spirit talks, and spirit is there, and that's just the way it is. We'll go to Kentucky now. We just did my first leg of the tour in Kentucky. We had cameras all set up all over the place, EVP recorders all over, and it was fascinating. Pictures were taken. There was a lot of things that were captured, and just not saying, oh, I got an EVP and stuff. No, I do what probably most people don't do, and that's speak to the other side and try to have the compassion to say, why are you coming here and you're still, living this moment? Because spirit's free will. Spirit goes, God never lets anybody trapped anywhere. And
Robbie, I hate to cut you off. We've only got 40 seconds, though, until our break. And we only have an hour with you tonight. But we'd like you to come back on. Can you come back on in the future?
Oh, you betcha. I love your show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm going to give you the last 10 seconds here before I have to sign it out.
Okay, good. Love yourself each and every day, everybody who's listening, and love God, because God is everything in your life. Don't ever forget it.
All right. Thanks a lot, Robbie. We appreciate it. I'm gonna shoot your people an email and get you back on here really soon, okay? Okay, and we're back. And Trent T-Bone Lackey's here.
T-Bone! I have an interesting story about a guy named T-Bone, but I don't think I really should tell about it because,
Does it involve illegal drugs?
He was pretty shady.
I'm kidding.
Let's just put it this way. He had a mohawk.
Oh.
And he lived in Happy Hills.
You know a guy named T-Bone too, Chuck?
Well, actually, I had a guy approach me and a friend of mine in a parking lot that tried to get us to steal T-bone steaks from his food line. He said, I know where I can unload them, man.
Oh, my God.
So maybe everybody named, T-bone steaks. But both of them involve shady things, Well,
I've got to talk about this new cigarette. I got to talk about this new cigarette, man. D just brought us these new cigarettes. All right? So D just brought these new cigarettes in tonight, and we're smoking them. Anyway, they're not funny cigarettes. I know what you guys are thinking. I'm not the libertarian. Chuck is. Anyway, but these put down the pipe, man. Now these I need to add a bong. I need to add a bong noise to the board. Every time I say put down the pipe, we need to play it. That'd be hilarious. I'm gonna have to do that. But no. So D brought these new Camel cigarettes, and apparently they're regular Camel cigarettes if you just light them up and smoke them. But if you press down really hard and pop them at the filter, you hear a little pop, and it turns the cigarette into a menthol.
It's like
cigarette.
A Transformer cigarette.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
I wonder if it's like an Autobot cigarette or a Decepticon cigarette.
But if you don't pop the little thing in the filter, though, it's just a regular Camel cigarette.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, good stuff. And, you know, we're here in Winston-Salem, where the makers of Camel, R.J. Reynolds, are located. Smoking is a pastime in this state. We don't care about any of those health problems here.
Well, we don't know. We also eat moon pies and have barbecue, so clearly.
And drink RC Cola.
I bought a 12-pack of them. I couldn't finish them.
Look, the best way to do it, Chuck, to eat a moon pie is to put them in the microwave for like 10 seconds, and if you put a little vanilla ice cream on top of it, it's great. I'm serious, it is. It's like, but it's like
good.
But you have to like eat them with caution and maybe eat one a month or something.
You know, get your RC Cola.
Don't burn yourself on the marshmallow.
No.
It comes out of the microwave.
Yeah, right. You only need about 10 seconds otherwise. So for all you out there eating moon pies, that's the proper Southern way of eating one.
Well, for those of you guys that want to get in the chat room, I've just been informed that you have to register at KarmaCast.com. That's KarmaKast.com. So 2Ks, KarmaCast.com. That's what you have to do to get in the chat room. Got a couple people in there now. Okay, so right now I've got Jason Offutt back with us. Jason, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm just really sad that I missed the moon pie discussion.
Are you a moon pie fan?
This might be sacrilegious, but I've never eaten a moon pie in my life.
Well, it's okay.
Heretic.
Go out there and try you one. You know,
Still has all his
they're very.
Do they even sell them out there? I don't know.
I mean,
They might not. They might not.
Yeah.
We finally got a Waffle House in the general vicinity.
You're kidding me.
Well, then.
So I may have to go there. That's a southern thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
That and Cheerwine actually is another North Carolina product that you can only get.
Yeah, you can get it in Florida.
Well, maybe in the South. And I don't know.
I think I've seen it in Florida before.
I don't think they sell them up north. But anyway, that's another food product that we pride ourselves on.
That's right. We make our own Texas Pete. Do you get that? Hot sauce?
No.
God, it's the best, man. That's a North Carolina product.
Yeah, I mean, here in Winston.
Goodies headache powder?
Coca-Cola?
No,
It's a North Carolina product called what?
Goodies headache powder.
Goodies headache powder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Super ass.
It's like it's
It
aspirin.
actually comes in a little packet. It looks like cocaine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Well,
a
I've had that. I've had something like that before. I don't remember the name of it though. BC powder, I think it was.
Yeah. Same stuff.
Yeah, it is
just
the
did
same
Yeah,
stuff.
I've had that. Only for headaches.
Isn't that the
Only for
nastiest?
medicinal
It works.
person.
You know, it works great. But isn't it the nastiest stuff to actually have to swallow? Why do they do that?
Well, I don't know. But when I was a weird kid. When I was a kid, I remember on Happy Days. I don't know. I was maybe 10 years old. I was watching Happy Days first run, and Fonzie couldn't chew an aspirin. And I told myself, you know what? Hey, I'm cooler than the Fonz. I can chew an aspirin. Ever since I was 10 years old, I've been tough enough to chew aspirin. I can handle that stuff.
Oh man!
And you managed to.
Did you manage to get the whole thing
through
down?
with it?
Yeah, it's a real sad testament to my life. But yeah, that's what I'm cool about. Aspirin.
Yeah, well, maybe you can work on that hitting the jukebox with like Fonz does. And
Get the
cut 'em
snap
off.
going
Yeah.
on. Wait a minute, I'll let Chuck do the snap. He's so good at it. Isn't that loud?
Yeah.
He has the loudest snap of any man. I
My
know.
gosh, we were just not on task at all.
We're not. It's been a weird night. Anyway, so Jason has written this book called Haunted Missouri, and we had him on last week. And for those of you that would like to hear that interview, well, you can't because it's not been posted. So if you weren't here live, you just missed out. But that's okay. We wanted to have him on because we had some technical issues last time. So we wanted to bring him back. So we're going to kind
You
of
wanted me back on because I was a really good interview.
well, that too. We
Yeah,
did. We
that's
really
true.
we really enjoyed ourselves.
Now the phones are
And I hope, and the phones are fixed now, and I hope that you enjoyed yourself too. And by the way, you can call us and speak with Jason this time, we promise, at 877-SCARE-U2. That's 1-877-722-7382, or locally, 336-996-1596. Call with any questions or comments.
Let's there's something that we didn't talk about. You do a lot of writing projects, and you have, if I remember correctly, a paranormal blog. Am I right about that? What
Yes.
was how do people get to that?
It's from-the-shadows.blogspot.com.
Okay.
And
So far I've tackled shadow people, ghosts, UFOs. There's a nice UFO crash in Missouri in 1941. Talked to some people about Bigfoot, and a nice time travel story. Did I just mention that? Maybe so. But
time travel.
Tell us about the time travel
Yeah, that
story.
sounds
I'm
like
interested
fun.
in that, actually.
Well, there was a guy back in the mid '90s who called the Art Bell Show.
Oh yeah.
His name was Mike Markham, and he was telling about his experiences building a time machine. What had happened? This guy lived in Savannah, Missouri, which, interestingly enough, is about 20 minutes from where I'm sitting right now. He stole 6 Transformers, not the ones you were talking about earlier.
Okay.
6 electrical Transformers from St. Joseph Power and Light, and he was going to build a Jacob's Ladder on his back porch.
Oh my God.
Oh wow.
Oh.
For anybody who doesn't know what a Jacob's Ladder is, if you remember the old Frankenstein movie,
Yeah.
it's the thing that went bzzz. All right, that's what it was. He'd built a small
I need
one.
that sound effect too.
Yes.
He'd built a small one and claimed that a vortex opened above it, and he threw a screw through it.
Oh
and
my
it disappeared. And a couple seconds later, it fell onto the table. So he figured that, hey, this is a time machine. I need to build a real life one. So on his back porch, he had built. He'd taken a couple of poles and built a human-sized Jacob's Ladder. What he wanted to do.
Jump into it.
Well, he was eventually going to do that. He was going to throw a cat in first.
Oh, God.
He wanted to make sure the cat got through. But what he wanted to do, and this is great because this is what the average human being would do. This is nothing for the betterment of mankind. Okay? He wanted to go a couple days in the future, get the lottery numbers, come back and get rich.
My kind of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what he wanted to do, and I appreciate that. But he got arrested.
Right,
Because
stealing.
he sold 6 Transformers from
Right.
St. Joe Power and Light. After he got out of jail, he got a job in St. Joseph, tried to earn enough money to repeat his experiment legally, and then the guy just disappeared.
He went through time.
Yeah, so a couple of things could have happened. One, he went through time. 2, he tried to go through time, and what probably happened is...
he died.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder if he tried the cat first, though.
I don't know. I talked with a reporter for the St. Joe News Press, and he didn't have. I asked him about the cat.
Yeah.
And he didn't have any news stories in the archives about him tossing a cat in.
Well, I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering if when he threw the bolt, if he threw it and instead it maybe landed on top of his roof somewhere, and then as it was, it rolled down, and then he saw it come back and just assumed, oh, it went through time.
Oh well, that's a good point.
I don't know.
Well, I don't, if you're thinking, if you build something like that and just run some electricity through it, and you say, hey, this is a time machine, you're assuming quite a bit to begin with.
Yes, you are.
My question is did he just plug it into his outlet, or was it plugged into
Yeah, how did he power this?
How was the power generated from the...
Oh, this is how he got caught. When he stole the Transformers, of course he had to hook it up to the city grid.
Oh,
and they saw some kind of enormous spike or whatever.
Yeah, they saw the
when
spike.
everybody's lights in town
Went out.
died, they knew there was a problem.
So if you're gonna
What's
build
in Sector 5? Let's ride by and check that
Let's
out.
go see what's going on there.
I interviewed, just been a few months ago, I interviewed the arresting officer from 1995, and I interviewed the city administrator, and when I asked them both about this, they just laughed their butts off before they actually told me what happened.
Oh, my God.
That's crazy,
That's a great story.
That is a great story.
That
is
really is.
That should have been in your, I would say it should have been in your book, but it's not really haunted, I guess.
I mean...
Yeah, no, but it's going to be in my next one,
okay.
hopefully, yeah.
I mean, how do you steal 6 Transformers? Aren't they fairly big? From what I understand, I mean, how do you do it?
Well, he got a couple of guys, and they did it in one morning.
Illegal immigrants.
You'd think it'd be like 2 o'clock
in the morning. Yeah,
it was like 11 o'clock in the morning.
It's like lunch break.
Well,
for
maybe
these guys.
he was operating under the theory that if it happens out and open, people are just assuming that
It's okay.
it must be something involving the power company because nobody would be dumb enough to steal
Exactly.
6 Transformers in the middle of the day like that.
Absolutely, it's. Have you guys ever read any Douglas Adams? He wrote The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
I haven't read that, no.
Okay, he had a one theory that he proposed in these books called the not my problem theory. That if you do all these things out in the open and they're so strange, people aren't going to confront you about them because it's a problem and it's not theirs. It's somebody else's problem.
You know, and there's a certain amount of logic to that, too.
Oh, yeah, there is.
That's great.
I saw this. I remember seeing this video now on one of those World's Wildest Police videos or whatever.
Oh, those are always entertaining.
Yeah, well, some guy was in a Subway. It was like 3 in the morning. Some guy was in like a Subway restaurant, and he was talking on his cell phone or something, and basically, I can't remember what ended up happening, but this, this girl broke in line, and he said something to her about, hey, the line starts back here, and so she goes all off on him. And basically, and he's just like, she's hitting him and stuff, and he's just trying to keep her kind of at bay. And finally, she leaves him alone because she goes outside to get her boyfriend, who's like 360 and 6'4", and this guy's like 170, maybe 6 foot tall. And the boyfriend comes in there and just clocks the guy, with his fist, and starts beating the guy.
What are all the other people doing?
They're just standing there watching.
All they want sandwiches.
Yeah,
I guess
they're not going to do anything.
Yeah, they're just standing there watching.
That guy's getting beat up, and she's in the wrong.
Yeah, I've seen stuff like that too, where people, it's in high school and stuff. But I mean,
oh yeah, but they
never out,
never
out in the.
They just want to see the fight.
I remember the one time when I used to work at Sears when I sold TVs and stuff years ago. I remember I was outside smoking a cigarette on my break, and I see these two guys fighting outside right in front, and I didn't realize that one of the guys fighting was like our security guy who was trying to apprehend. So I'm there to break it up, right? Yeah. Well, anyway, I did break it up, and I'm like, oh, crap, I pulled the wrong guy off. So anyway, then I have to chase him, then I have to help him get the guy. Then we bring the guy in the store, and he's fighting with us some more. We end up tackling him into like this huge thing of vacuum cleaners, this whole display right in the store. We knocked like probably 8 vacuum cleaners on the floor. It was hilarious.
You should have cut on the vacuum cleaners and allowed the suction to keep the guy, pinned.
They were in the boxes still.
Oh,
yeah.
well, okay.
Anyway, that's my public violence story.
I'm sorry. I know we're interviewing you, Jason, but I got to point this out that I got one myself where I was sitting there eating an apple on break in the grocery store I worked at when I was a teenager, and actually a mutual friend of ours was sitting there watching the same incident at hand. We're sitting on the peat moss just watching the traffic, and all of a sudden there's these two kind of heavy-set women go at it out in the parking lot, and one of them pulls out a stun gun and just like, and hits the other lady, And the thing is, the other lady that she had the stun gun with was pregnant. And yeah, and it was like a big
Can we say
deal.
Jill?
Yeah, but here's the funny thing is the fact that me and my friend were both sitting there, and yet I wasn't brought up to court. We would just go like, "Wow, that's
look at that."
Better go get the manager or something, But I mean, my friend went to court to as a witness, but they never called me.
I'm sorry, you didn't get to participate in our
legal
justice system.
But it was pretty crazy, though.
Didn't y'all do the same thing when the building caught on fire?
D, there's no need to talk
When
about
the building caught on fire, y'all
don't
did the
worry
same
about that.
thing? What?
Yeah. Well,
Oh, Lord. Oh, Jason, D wants me to let you know that he's going to send you his broccoli coleslaw recipe.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'd love the broccoli coleslaw recipe.
Anyway, well, let's get into your book a little bit. Let's talk
Sorry about that.
Let's talk about senior hall at Stevens College. What was that like for you?
It was a really cool place. It was a building that was built in the Civil War. There were some fairly conflicting reports on the haunting, because rumor at Stevens College. By the way, a little bit of trivia: Mary Ann from Gilligan's Island, Dawn Wells, the woman who played her, graduated from Stevens College.
She actually went to college? Oh, I'm sorry.
She actually went to college, graduated from Stevens College, and I knew someone at one point who had her telephone number because she was on the alumni board.
Oh, man.
Weird.
Yeah, I tried to get Mary Ann's phone number.
I was going to say.
She was about 65 at the time, but still, I wanted to talk to her.
Yeah, it's Mary Ann, dude. Yeah,
exactly. But anyway, there were some conflicting, urban legend type rumors involving a death. But what generally happened, or generally is decided upon, is during the Civil War, a soldier was wounded in a battle. He wandered onto the campus and walked into this girl's dormitory. Everybody being gentlemen, the opposing side didn't come in and get it. The girls nursed him back to health, and one of them fell in love with him. And they tried to make an escape, and they didn't make it, and ended up throwing themselves into a river. That's a fairly typical story, involving some young lovers. A lot of ghost stories involve young lovers. But one of the people who teach at the college told me that he did a seance back in the 1970s.
Yeah, it's Halloween Eve 71.
Right. And some newspaper people were up there to write a story about the event, and the newspaper people got the heck scared out of them, and they ran out because they saw a Confederate soldier and a woman wearing a white dress walking up some stairs.
Right.
And
I want to sell some newspapers. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of that goes on. But the teacher holding the seance, a bunch of candles blew out, somebody screamed, somebody fainted, a student fainted, they decided to leave. And everybody went home. Well, unrelated to all of this, the teacher got a call at about 3 o'clock in the morning because some of his students who weren't there, weren't involved in the seance, didn't know the seance was going on, were walking home, and they walked past Senior Hall, and a woman in a white dress walked out and said, "Peter is no longer allowed here. His wife can come back, but Peter can't." And then she disappeared. And Peter was the name of
the guy that did the seance, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well.
So has he gone back since?
He's been back a couple of times. He said he went back a few times during the 70s and 80s and felt extremely uncomfortable and left fairly immediately. But he's been back in more recent years and feels more comfortable there.
I don't know about you, but if I heard a voice that said, "Go away," I'd be like, "Okay, I'm gone. I'm out."
Yeah, horror movie starring me would last 5 minutes.
Me too.
I'd be gone.
Yeah, we would just leave.
That's it.
Okay, well,
Yeah, well,
something weird's going on in there, and obviously I'm not supposed to be there.
I need to get on that.
It's somebody else's problem.
It's somebody else's problem. Yeah, good one, D.
It wouldn't even have to be a get out if it was a welcome.
Yeah,
I'd still be gone.
No thanks. Yeah. Really, you can keep that.
Oh, very charming, polite of you, but I think I need to go over here somewhere.
I don't know if I asked you this last time, but which of these stories, which place scared the heck out of you the most?
Out of scaring, I don't get scared very easily, but there were two places that did basically the same thing to me. I never get claustrophobic. I don't care how tight a place I'm in. I do not feel claustrophobic. But I was in the Hotel Savoy in Kansas City and at Workman Chapel in Maryville, Missouri, which is a small town, about 14,000 people. So far north and west, it's almost Nebraska and Iowa. But in both of these places, I ran into something that made me panic. Nobody else was around. I couldn't see anybody. It was a normal day for the hotel, a normal night for the chapel and cemetery. But I got really claustrophobic. I started getting hot. I was flush. I started sweating. My chest got really tight. I started breathing very quickly, and I just felt like I had to get the heck out of there. And I left. The interesting point about the hotel is the floor I was on, I later found out, was the floor all of the sightings of this one ghost are on. So I don't know what would happen if I would have interviewed the people and found out the ghost would have been seen on that floor.
If that would have, yeah.
Yeah, I would have thought, yeah, it's just my imagination. But I didn't know that at that point. The rest of the hotel, I felt fine. Oh. And by the way, the Savoy makes great steaks if you're ever in Kansas City.
Yeah. What's your suggestion there? Broccoli coleslaw or okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I still haven't seen the recipe. Yeah. Well, you can't go wrong with broccoli. It's great for the prostate, but I don't want to get into that.
Okay. Yeah. What about what kind of steak do you recommend us getting if we were around that area?
Filet mignon, man.
A Kansas City strip.
Okay.
It's Kansas City. You got to get a Kansas City strip.
I thought it was a New York strip. Is what I.
Yeah, that's what the people in New York say, but
it's really a Kansas City strip.
Okay.
Well, that's where I'm going.
Okay, I got you. Well, tell us. Let's talk a little bit about Bone Hill that you talk about. That huge cross.
Bone Hill was a lot of fun.
Actually,
Yeah,
actually, we're going to talk about that when we come back from break. We're going to chat meaningless things for the next 2 minutes because we've got a break coming up. How's that?
Terrific.
All right.
Actually, no, we can make this productive. Where would we find this book? If I were, I would like to get Haunted Missouri by Jason Offutt. Where would I go to get it?
Well, I found out today that Amazon.com ordered a whole bunch of them. So I'm suggesting Amazon.com.
Okay.
Or Truman State University Press, either one.
Truman State University Press.
That would be tsup.truman.edu.
EDU.
Yeah. tsup.truman.edu.
Correct.
I noticed that Rosemary Ellen Guiley has a little thing on the back, as well as a little blurb, as well as Lloyd Auerbach. We've interviewed him before, as well as Rosemary, and Scott Lambert from Ghostly Talk. We've talked with him before, and Daniel Ott. I'm not familiar with The Edge.
We know 3 of the 4 of those.
We know 3 of the 4 though. Yeah.
Daniel Ott is a paranormal host out of Indianapolis.
Well, I just got my first blurb on a book this year. Yeah, it's on the back of actual factual Dracula. I have a little blurb on the back like that.
And that's pretty cool.
It is. I'm all thrilled.
Is that what the blurb said, Scott? This book
no,
is pretty cool.
it doesn't say this. I can't remember what I said exactly, but it was a good look. I actually saw the book. I was like, man, that's kind of cool. J. Scott, World of the Unexplained Radio. I was like, yeah. So hint, Jason. Next book coming out.
I'll definitely give you a nod. One of the cool things about Lloyd, I haven't met Lloyd yet. I haven't actually ever talked to him or communicated with him.
Great guy.
He, from what my publisher told me, is that he's the guy that pushed them over the edge about to publish my book.
Really?
Because university presses, they publish local history, they publish academic books. They usually don't publish ghost stories. But he was on a reading group that they had formed, and he was like, "You got to publish this book."
Wow.
So
we're gonna have to take a break real quick, Jason.
Lloyd.
Yeah, but we'll be back, guys. Call in. The phones work now, and there's no irritating hum noise anymore.
And we're back. World of the Unexplained. The numbers tonight are 1-877-722-7382. Locally 336-996-1596. We are talking tonight with Jason Offutt, author of Haunted Missouri, which is a pretty excellent read, and you can find that book on Amazon.com and Truman University Press. And I believe we were talking about Bone Hill. That's one of my favorite stories out of the book. So take it away there, Jason.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the one thing that I thought was kind of funny, there's a lot of good humor in this book too. Jason also writes humor, but one of the things that I saw when I was reading it was talking about the cross. This is here. I'll quote just this one line. I was going to visit the cemetery, walk around the tombstones, and stand beneath the cross. I just hope nothing was nailed to it. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, it sounds cooler when somebody else reads it.
Oh, yeah. Hey, man, I'm free for audio book recording.
Excellent. I'll keep that in mind.
Yes,
Yeah, Bone Hill is a neat place. It got its name from American Indians. Allegedly, I'll have to throw that out because who the heck knows? This was hundreds of years ago. But allegedly, whenever they killed buffalo, they'd take them to that hill and strip down all the good parts and leave the bones sitting there to bleach in the sun.
Nice.
That's where it got its name. It's got a different context now because there's a cemetery sitting there. So we got a lot of bones sitting on Bone Hill. Back in the 1800s, in the mid 1800s, the area was owned by a farmer who, when the Civil War broke out, decided, I don't want to be any part of this. So I'm going to leave. When he left, as legend has it, there was a fence. Actually, it's still standing. A fence that was built by slaves. That he buried all of his wealth next to the fence, and he left saying, "I'll be back in 7 years." So every 7 years since then, as the story goes, a light appears on the hill, and people say that it is the farmer coming back for his treasure. Has it come back every 7 years? I don't know. But I have talked to people who have been out there and seen a light and chased a light on that hill and have never caught up with it.
And this is what we talked about last time about the possibility of a gas reaction maybe being...
like the spook light.
Yeah.
Well,
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, there have been scientists who've studied it, and they've said that gases escape from the shale, from the hill, and that accounts for the light. But the people I've talked to who have been out there and chased the light say it's a light that seems physical, and it moves, and as they go toward it, it leaves. It gets away from them. It runs.
It reacts to them, basically.
Exactly, yeah, it intelligently reacts to them.
Huh. Have you talked to anybody who's tried to find the treasure over there?
There have been a number of people who've tried to find the treasure over the decades, and they haven't. They've dug around the fence, and they've taken metal detectors out there, and the current owner doesn't like any of it. So, yeah, don't go out there because he might shoot in the air.
True.
Yeah.
Well, I also, if there's one ghost that anyone would like to have around, I'd have to say it. You'd have to give that to Main Street Cafe, Marceline, I believe that's the way you pronounce it. That city or town or that town.
Right.
Correct?
Yeah, that's the way to pronounce it.
But any ghost that's going to clean up after you, fold stuff up. I mean, then this story basically involves a restaurant. I'll let you get into it with what a kind ghost.
Right, the ghost, the Main Street Cafe in Marceline, Missouri. Marceline is the boyhood home of Walt Disney.
Yeah.
And he lived there until he was about 5 or 6. And allegedly, Main Street USA at Disney World is modeled after Marceline's Main Street. But anyway, yeah, the ghost has been known to clean up after people. I interviewed a woman who worked there for a number of years who needed a rag to wipe something up, and before she could reach over to get it, it was thrown across the room to her.
Well,
how cool!
That's nice.
Yeah.
Now, if you want a ghost, one of the ghosts from the Hotel Savoy that I mentioned before. There was a German businessman who requested one specific room every time he came to town because somebody would give him a back rub.
Oh.
That's the ghost you want to have.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I just wonder how far else that travels.
Not like that scene from Ghostbusters, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the scene from Ghostbusters that my mom made me close my eyes.
Well, I think everybody's mom made.
And I had no idea what was going on at 8 or 10 when I saw that film. I'm like, I don't get it.
I ain't afraid of no ghost.
Chuck ain't afraid of no ghost. He's readily available for that kind of activity.
Yeah, in that movie, Sigourney Weaver sitting there in just a shirt saying, "Are you the Keymaster?" Yeah, that was a scene that you need to shield kids' eyes from.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, that would be because Bill Murray comes in. He's like, "Yes,
that's me." Are you the Keymaster? No.
That would be our. We've always talked about dream guests, and we've got a lot of them. I remember when we first started the show. One of the guests that we wanted more than anything was Bishop Sean Manchester. That was like the grail, the holy grail of guests. And we got him on through basically coercing. And we basically got him on because we issued the Woe2 challenge. We got him on. Turns out he's a real cool guy. Yeah. But we got him on because we had David Ferran on, and those guys just hate each other.
Passionately.
So since we had David on, Bishop Manchester was more than willing to come on to give his side of the story.
Right.
The Highgate Vampire.
Yes. Did you hear those?
I listened to both of those back to back.
What did you think about those?
Well, it was really interesting. I think the Bishop had a stronger case.
Yeah, well, but it was that was our golden chalice that we chased, and then after that, I was kind of like, oh man, well, who can we get now? And I guess that when you mentioned Bill Murray, that's somebody that we've always, I tried to get with the Winston. What's his name? He's managed by Xander Magic or some crap. Yeah. So anyway, I'd emailed his press guy, and I'm telling this story on the air. I didn't. I have never told this before on the air, but I emailed his press guy, and he never got back to me. So I emailed this guy Winston directly, and apparently he forwarded that to his manager, and his manager sends me this blistering email about how I should go through management, and they can't respond overnight, and this, that, and the other. I'm like, the guy has a thing on his website called "Have Lunch with a Ghostbuster," and he charges $100 a head. I think you know what I mean. I was like, I think he can give me a little bit of his time. Not only that, the guy's blistering email. He can't even read or write the English language properly. I'm looking at all these spelling errors and things like that. I'm like, don't you have spell check on your email? I mean, come on. If you're gonna bless a guy out in the email, at least spell stuff right.
Oh well, I guess that just leaves Bill Murray or Dan Aykroyd now, or Harold Ramis.
I've actually tried to get Harold Ramis, and I got heard back from him. He was on a movie, and they said Ernie Hudson. That's the guy's name.
Ernie Hudson.
Winston Zedmore, Ernie Hudson. But I did talk to Harold Ramis's people, and they said at the time I talked to him, it's been months ago, 6 months ago or more. They said he was working on something, but he might be available later for us.
Well,
so that's kind of that's a hopeful.
Pretty awesome.
Very cool. Harold Ramis is a cool guy. Bill Murray did something last year that I thought was fantastic.
Well, what did he do?
He was in
Dead Flowers. Was that the name of the movie?
Broken Flowers.
Broken Flowers.
Yeah.
Is that what you're thinking of?
No, I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about something he did. He was in Scandinavia promoting a movie. It might have been Broken Flowers, and he just showed up at a college party.
Oh, man. Dude, can you imagine the stories you would have to share with your friends?
He showed up and drank, and then he stayed and washed glasses.
Well, I used to live in Ponte Vedra, Florida.
I remember this.
At Ponte Vedra Beach, and this is a really upscale community in northern Florida. I mean, the houses there are insanely expensive. I lived in an insanely expensive apartment on the beach. And anyway, I was at this bar one night. This is when I was in law school. And I'm in the bathroom, doing my thing, peeing, And the guy walks up to me in the stall next to me, and he looked just like Bill Murray. And we have a lot of, we had a lot of the, what is it, the golf thing? I don't know, TCP, whatever they call it, the big golf thing there every year. It's really well known. I mean, they even named all the roads after it. The golf course was right down the road from my house. Well, anyway, this guy comes in, and he's been, at the bar and stuff, and we get a lot of famous people there from time to time. Look just like Bill Murray. No, it's not the Crosby. I can't remember what the name of it is. But look just like Bill Murray. And I was like, oh, my God, and I look at this guy, and I'm thinking, I don't want this guy to think I'm some kind of fairy or something. I'm looking at him, when I'm standing beside him in the urinal.
Well, you got to take the opportunity when you have it.
But I looked at him, I said, do you know who you look like? You look like Bill Murray. And he said, yeah, I know. It gets me a lot of, I'm not going to fill in the blank on the rest of that. But, it was just amazing to see. And, I told some of my friends about that, and they're like, it could have been Bill Murray.
It could have been.
And I will to this day, I'll never know.
You'll never know, because he might say something like that.
Yeah, Bill Murray probably would. He wouldn't tell you he was Bill Murray. And I don't know. Maybe he'd say, I am Bill Murray. That's why I look like him.
Tell me that all the time.
Yeah, people tell me that all the time. But, yeah, it basically gets me a lot of action. People tell you, there was other words used. But, you get the idea. But,
wow.
Yeah, my greatest claim to fame is when I was in college. I was working at Kansas City Royals. Actually, they were good back then.
Oh, really?
Too hard. Yeah. I was working as a food vendor, and somebody called me down, and I was gonna fix them. I was a nacho man.
Wait. Was this back when the Raiders were good too? Go ahead.
And this guy flagged me down. I'm fixing him a nacho, and I look up, and I'm like, that guy looks like Donnie Most. Donnie Most, Ralph Malph from Happy Days.
Really?
So I'm fixing this guy this nacho, and I'm like, hey, you look like Donnie Most, and he said, probably because I am.
Oh my gosh!
They were playing the Angels from California. It was a playoff race, so yeah, I figured this is Donnie Most.
Oh,
so he gave me an autograph and no tip.
Oh, what a jerk! What a jerk!
Well,
like nachos were $1.70. He gave me $1 3/4 and wanted his nickel back. Yeah, that was
wow.
Well, maybe he doesn't have.
It's like when Shaquille O'Neal came here years ago. I remember I was dating a girl that worked at the restaurant as a bartender at the time, and she had told me, this is years ago, she's like, yeah, they bring in their whole crew, they fed them for free. I'm not going to mention any names of the restaurants, but it's not here anymore. But they gave them all their food for free, fed him and his crew, his entourage, and then they leave and not give them a tip. They gave them all free food. They didn't leave a tip, not a dime.
Why do people who can afford it the most get it for free all the time?
I don't know.
I don't know.
When there's good, hard-working Republicans out there that will actually have to work for a living and then get taxed to death. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Wow, that really has nothing to do with haunted Missouri.
No, it doesn't. And I want to get back to haunted Missouri.
Okay, well, all right, you go ahead.
I'm the one who should be saying that. Thank you.
Yeah, well, we're going to give you about 5 more minutes, and then we'll close out the show with the last 5, Jason. But, I noticed a lot of the stories in this book, concern colleges. And, even when I went to college at Guilford, it was established in 1837. Me and Chuck went there. And, there's always the ghost stories running around there, Dane Auditorium and things like that.
There was a lady at ACOC or
Oh, yeah, UNCG. There's haunted stories there. Dr. Al Prophet even investigated some of that stuff. I'm looking here at Roberta Hall, and then I remembered the other place, the other university that we talked about earlier tonight with your friend that had the seance. And it's just, why do you think a lot of these hauntings are center in a college area?
Well, think of the people going to college.
Yeah.
People going to college are pretty screwed up emotionally.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Trying to be adults. They're thrown out on their own for the first time. A number of these colleges have suicides. They've got accidental deaths. They've just got a lot of angst involved with them. That's one of the reasons. Another reason, it's this is not ghostly, but it's urban legend. Students pass on stories that they hear. The Roberta Hall stories, I think, which is in Maryville, Missouri, I think they're pretty interesting because I've interviewed people from the 50s, 60s, 80s, skip the 70s. I don't trust any of those people.
Yeah, they're too high. Anyway.
90s and today, some students I interviewed a little over a year ago, and the stories of the ghostly hauntings are the same. So I kind of put some validity to that. One of the cool college stories that I really like is at Central Methodist University in Fayette, Missouri, because a guy, the conductor of the school orchestra, they were having a spring recital in May. It was a beautiful day. He was wearing a tux. He was conducting a symphony called The Catacombs, and he died of a heart attack and fell into the drum pit.
Ouch! Whoa!
Right during that. Of course, that was pretty shocking. I actually interviewed somebody who went to the college and witnessed the whole event. And this guy has been seen occasionally standing in front of the auditorium on a spring day wearing a tuxedo, and the co-ed will walk by and he'll go, "Nice night for a concert," and then disappear.
Wow.
Maybe
nice night for a heart attack.
Maybe his last thoughts, before.
Yeah. Huh.
Oh, well.
Well, Jason, I'm going to
I shouldn't have eaten the bacon.
Yeah, exactly.
Shouldn't have baconed my sausage or
that daggone $6 burger from Hardee's.
My bacon, yeah.
Do y'all have Hardee's out there?
Or is it Jack in the Box?
We've got very, very few Hardee's out here.
Okay. Carl's Jr. then?
Crystal Burger.
There are Carl's Jr.'s down to the south of us. We've got Hardee's up here. And I really respect Hardee's because when everybody else went healthy, they went
stupid,
yeah. But it will taste really good.
Yeah. It was a brazen move. But,
have you tried the $6 burger?
No, frankly, it scares me.
It's good, man.
It is really.
It is.
You might want to not eat anything for the rest of the day.
I actually had one tonight before the show. That's why I'm still full and probably will be until noon tomorrow.
They're amazingly huge.
I can't even eat the fries with it. I can't eat the fries because this thing is such a big hunk of meat.
Yeah.
Hardee's. It even sticks out of the bun. And the bun's huge.
Right.
And you've got the tomatoes and the.
You're making me hungry, man.
Okay, I'll stop. But
I particularly like the mushroom Swiss burger. It's one of the few mushroom Swiss burgers. I don't know the fast food restaurant that has a mushroom and Swiss burger, so
that's true. Well, Wendy's used to.
Unfortunately, I'm at the age where my doctor says, I'm 42 years old. The doctor says, okay, don't drink water, don't eat food, don't breathe. You'll live longer.
Wow.
Just not happily.
Yeah. So look forward to 42.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Well, we're gonna have to let you go, but we'll give you a couple of minutes for the final word. So go ahead.
Okay, the final word.
We really get the final word, but
yeah.
Buy my book.
Yeah, buy my book. Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at. My book is Haunted Missouri, A Ghostly Guide to the Show Me State's Most Spirited Spots. What I tried to do with the book is it's for ghost hunters, it's for history buffs, it's for people who just want to drive through Missouri and see the sights. All the places in the book are open to the public. You can go to them, see them, experience the ghosts if they decide to show up. And there are a lot of good restaurants in this state, so come and visit.
Get the KC Strip.
Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, Truman State University, which is tsup.truman.edu, or go to www.jasonoffutt.com.
All right, Jason, we appreciate it. Hey, we got to have you back on in a couple months. What do you say?
Hey, it'd be fantastic. Anytime you want me, I'd be happy to come.
You're a great guest.
Thanks so much. Yeah, you're a lot of fun, man.
All right, hey, I've had a great time doing this, and hey, post up on the podcast.
I'm getting around to it.
Yeah.
I'm opening a law practice here, man. It's hard. I've got clients. I have to worry about their constitutional rights because, if the police arrest them, they're not guilty. Anyways, if they're my client. Now, if they're anybody else's client, they're guilty in sin.
No, absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
They need a fry, but if they're my client,
they need to swing.
They're innocent.
Yeah,
completely.
you were complaining about libertarians earlier. If the libertarians had more of their way, you wouldn't have very many clients.
Exactly. Those crazy libertarians. Put the pipe down, Chuck. Put the pipe. All right, Jason, we appreciate you coming on. Thanks so much. We'll see you
there,
soon.
Hey, thanks again. Talk to you soon.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
That was Jason Offutt again. We have to get him back on.
I mean, the thing about it is, this book is a very good book, guys.
It is, and we
need to look at it.
start
You need
talking to
buy it.
him. We start talking to him. We just go crazy.
Completely off subject. I mean, it's bad for us to do this, but I mean, at the same time, I mean, that's how the conversation rolls. And I mean, with Jason here, I mean, it just keeps on going.
He's like another host. It's fun. It's fun talking.
Totally.
He may be giving Ethan a run for his money.
He may be giving Ethan a run for his money.
Ethan's got some pretty.
We got to get Ethan back on here. Actually, let's bring Ethan back on here in July. I think that'd be good.
Well, we'll see.
The film movie coming out around then?
No, I think it's going to be more like October. I don't know.
Okay. It will be this year then, huh?
I'm told that.
Okay. Well.
So and there's things up. Things are happening.
Things are hopping.
Yep, and I'm actually doing some work for him as well in the entertainment field. So
we can play anything we want, Chuck. We don't have to play this.
You don't want to play this first.
No,
yeah, we decided that last time.
We found out last week.
Remember?
What? Nah, I do, but I don't.
Well, let's not subject other people to that again.
Where's the one with the?
Yeah, see, you do remember. He just wants to do it again. He's like the kid that wants to. He's like the kid in front of the sign that says "Don't press the red button," and he keeps
totally
looking at it.
I was totally that kid. But the one where like, the song that you guys were drinking at or something. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone that's heard Bonfire, they know that Chuck's friend had to be drinking when they recorded that. So
that's just fun to listen to.
Oh
man. Well, I'm sorry I was late, guys. But D, I hear you did a swell job.
He did.
He manned the post well.
He took it out and broke it down.
Yeah,
that's right.
No, he took it out and chopped it up.
That's it. I'm sorry. Took it out and chopped it up.
Don't misquote me.
I'm sorry,
Scott.
man. He broke it down like a shotgun.
Well, okay, there you go. That's your own little thing. That's fine. But
you did break a shotgun down yesterday? Really? That's weird.
Yeah, you know what?
That's what you do on Sundays down here, man.
That's what you do on Sundays
it's either
when you're
shotgun.
smoking your cigarettes.
Right, you got to clean your guns, man. Never
That's
know
right.
when.
That's right.
Never know when the Hun's gonna invade you or something. Anyway.
The Hun.
And not the Hun from Night at the Museum. Well, who's on next week? Because I don't have a computer, but I think it's actual factual Dracula. Now I could be wrong.
No, I think it's Ron Hunter next week.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about all kinds of stuff with Ron. He's got a great book. We'll talk. You got to tune in. It's just something that you gotta hear about, planning ahead for the things that are to come. And so, isn't it Ron Hunter next week? Yeah. And I'm gonna get his info up. I'm gonna get this website straightened up this week.
Cleaned up.
I am. It's in really, really bad state of disrepair. I know we're getting to the end of the line. And I do have news. After Ron, we're going to have Terry Bain, actual factual Dracula. And then after her, July 2nd, we're going to have Paul Williams on.
Okay.
Day of Islam. I talked to him today.
Have you finished that book?
No, I haven't. But I'm going to get around to it.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. Really. Don't shake your head, no, D. I've just been really busy.
I know. No, I understand. But
I've read a
I'm just
little.
wanting you to read it so I can read it. That's all.
Yeah, I am passionate about it. I think he's got a great message. It scares the heck out of you, but it's.
Well, I'll put him to the Pepsi challenge.
All right. Well, anyway, I am Jay Scott, Esquire. The only JD DJ on the Omnisound Radio 1 network.
Omnisound.
That's right. We're back, baby.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We're not on it.
We're not on it right now, but we are back.
Oh,
we were having some issues with getting on the stream, but that's okay. Anyway,
it's Trey Lackey coming to you from Kernersville, North Carolina, a small town where we talk about big things. Chuck, take it out.
We out.